Hi out there, and welcome to the Revere Veterans and Community Show. And today is strictly a veteran community show, no military veterans. So we have four beautiful children and two beautiful teachers, and a principal to boot. I'm going to introduce Miss Barbara Kelly, who's the principal of the Paul Revere School, and Terri Incerto, who's a teacher of the first grade at the Paul Revere School. And I want to say to all your kids, welcome. Miss Kelly, could you start off by introducing that beautiful crowd you have there?
I'm very happy to. The first sitting right beside you is Israel Neto, then in 5th grade. Then we have Danielle Fabiano in 2nd grade. We have Lilly and Anthony Perno, they're twins, in grade 5. And Mrs. Incerto, our head lead teacher in grade 1, who helps to run the best Veterans Day program in this district.
I agree with you on that. Go ahead, Ms. Terri. Tell us about what you do on Veterans Day, how you get the thing organized for us, because I've been down to your school and I love it coming every Veterans Day.
And we look forward to having you every single Veterans Day, Morris.
I'm glad because you're the only one.
I will always want you to be there, Morris. This started about 15 years ago, actually. We used to have a teacher that worked with us. His name was Scott Cabral, and he was a Gulf War veteran. And he started us on this process, and he used to have some of veterans come in and talk about what they have done in their lives and their experiences, and that evolved into an assembly. And then from the assembly, we went from having some stars in the hallway to recognize our veterans to having a video to represent our veterans. And now it has become quite the gala, and we are this year having our Secretary of Education as a special guest, who is a Marine. And he is going to be our special guest this year. Yes, his name is Matt Malone. And he is also going to be accompanied by Sergeant Dan Clark, who's going to be with us again to sing and entertain us and teach us about the branches of the military.
Yes, Terri, you were talking about Sergeant Dan Clark. Can you tell us a little about him? Because I've been there when he sings the national anthem, and it's a beautiful job.
Well, I have to tell you, Morris, the first time he came to our school, he was actually a state trooper at the time. And it was his job as a state trooper to go around and to sing because he has quite the voice.
Right.
And he came to our school the first time and was engaged with the children, sang. He sings the national anthem, and you do get goosebumps when he does that. So now he's just become part of our program. He's happy to come every year. He loves being with the children. He himself is a Marine, and he was a drill sergeant. So he teaches the children a lot about how to stand at attention, how to salute, and other things that they need to learn.
Right. Go ahead, Miss Kelly.
As Mrs. Incerto had just said that, Israel, do you remember the moment that Dan Clark had you stand like a soldier?
Yes.
Well, can you recall for us what that was like?
It was really fun and amusing.
And what branch of the service did you represent at the Paul Revere School?
I represented the U.S. Army.
Right, and say it the way you said it when you said it.
U.S. Army.
Right.
And what did you have to do?
I had to salute.
Salute, and he taught you how to salute. Do you remember
Yes.
the commands he taught you?
Can you do it? Can you do the whole thing again, Israel? Just the way he would have you do it. Go ahead with the salute and everything, and the way you said
Stand
it with
up,
that.
Israel.
Go ahead,
Stand
you
up
can
and
do the
show
whole
us,
thing.
because you did it so well.
U.S. Army.
Okay.
Very good.
That's good. And that's how we represented the Army on stage, and there was one student for each branch of the service, including the Merchant Marines, which Sergeant Dan
Right.
has very nicely included and lets us know that they are now included as one of the branches of service.
Terri, can you tell us about that beautiful little Danielle?
Yes, Danielle was my first grade student last year, and she might want to tell you about somebody special in her life, and it's her brother, Joey. You want to talk about Joey?
Do you want to tell Morris? Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Morris about
Danielle.
Joey.
My class last year in first grade, we used to write about him, write him letters, and he used to write back. And,
Where was Joey, if I may ask you?
he is in the.
Take your time. Take your time. Is he in the service? He's in the service?
I think.
Yes.
Yes.
What branch? Army, Navy, Marines, Air Corps, Coast Guard,
He's in the Air
Air
Force.
Force.
Yes.
the Air Force?
And last year, Danielle, what happened last year? We wrote to him when he was in boot camp, right? And he wrote back to us. And then he came back to visit, right? And now he's in North Dakota, where he's stationed. Are you very proud of him?
Yeah.
Very good, Danielle, and I'm proud of you coming up here. And I'm sure the teachers are proud of you because you're one of the nicest looking students in the Paul Revere School.
Danielle, do you want to show Mr. Morris one of the things that we do for our Veterans Day? What we do for our veterans? What you have in your hand? You want to share that with him? Want to go
Wanna
over and
give it
show
to
him what it
Go
is?
ahead,
Go
give it
right
to him and
ahead.
tell him.
Come right over, don't worry.
Yeah.
You can come over. I'll
This is
salute
a
you.
piece of flag
Oh,
And why do we do that, Danielle? Why do we do that?
to
go ahead, Danielle. I get one every year when I come to the school. They pass them around to all the veterans and all the non-veterans there. And it's people like you that make us very happy to come to your school. So I want to thank you for coming here, and I want to thank you for what you do for us. And by the way, you too, Israel. I got to shake your hand. You do a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Right?
Israel, would you read what's on there? Just no, on the one that Danielle has. Will you read that?
Can you
I-
see it?
I am a part of our American flag. I have flown over a home or a school in the USA. I can no longer fly. The sun and wind have caused me to become tattered and torn. Please carry me, and as a reminder, you are not forgotten.
So, Morris, this year we'll have plenty of those on hand again to pass out to our veterans.
Right.
And maybe you could take some down to your senior center as
I'd
well
love
this
to,
year.
Terry. Can I say something about the flag, if I may,
Please do.
girls? I want you to listen to a story how the American flag is so important to the United States and especially to me. We had a gentleman, Paul Monty. His son got killed in Afghanistan. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor, which is the highest award you can win. But he got killed getting it. He wanted to put a flag on his son's grave at Bourne Cemetery. He was not allowed to do it. He went to the Defense Department, to the generals, to the military, to the locals. None of them would help him. He finally had to go to the big boy in Washington, D.C., who notified the person at Bourne that the flags will be there. But he told him that he can only keep them for 3 days and he would have to remove them. Mr. Monty said, no, I'm keeping them for 2 weeks. And a lot of our veterans go down to Bourne Cemetery before the veterans of November the 11th, and we put a flag on the soldiers' graves. So you can see what the flag really means, because there's 56,000 soldiers buried at Bourne Cemetery who died for the flag that you see behind me over here. That's what the flag means to us, and that's what I'm sure it means to you, to all you nice folks. So, thank you.
In another special treat, we have Lilly and Anthony Morris, who on their own time composed this poem. Would you allow them to read it to you
Of course,
now?
I would love to hear it. But let the lady start first, that's all.
Veterans Day is here. It only comes once a year.
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, you guys are real fighting machines. All you do is fight, 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 keeping our country free and right.
Leaving your family going far away, making a decision to go and stay. Men and women take the time to sacrifice staying alive.
Wearing a uniform, that is what's true, in those heavy combat boots. Not working in the office nor on the street. In the extremes of cold and heat, you will worry about being beat.
Thank you for supporting the red, white, and blue. We all believe in you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
That is excellent. Thank you. Terry,
Go
if I
ahead.
can just say one thing, because
Please do.
we do Christmas cards for the troops. And we do cards all year long besides Christmas. I mean, we send them thank you cards and everything else. Your school does a tremendous amount. Now, there's 2 people I would like to thank. Number 1 is Nick Boer from the Revere Veterans Service, the commissioner there, and his helper, Donna Dreesen. She goes to your school, delivers the Christmas cards, you kids sign them, and then you bring them to us, and we give them to the boys when we send packages overseas. I want you kids to tell us a little about how you feel about signing those cards for our veteran troops. And you can start off with you, Israel.
I feel really sad because they go and fight for our country, and they risk their lives to save us. And I write cards for them because I want to know if they're doing good and having a lot of progress.
Right, and it's people like you that make them feel happy. And little Danielle?
How do you feel when you write those cards,
Or we
Danielle?
send them to Joey and things like that. How does that make you feel?
I feel like kind of sad because Joey left, and
You feel proud of him?
yeah.
Would you say, Danielle, would you do me a favor the next time you write to Joey? Would you tell him hello from us, from the Revere Senior Center, from the veterans from World War II all the way up to Afghanistan? Want to thank him for his service. Would you do that for us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like to sign my name and write Christmas cards and other cards to the veterans because I think it's important to tell them that we care about them and we believe in them.
Let me tell you, they care about you too, Lily. They really do. That's why they're out there protecting us.
I feel honored to write and sign cards to send to our troops because they're fighting to keep our country free and they're risking their lives every day.
I have to tell you, I feel honored to be the principal at this school because not only is it a school, but it more is, just like you said, a community of veterans. We have a community of students and teachers that have been committed to the veterans since I've come there, and the culture has just grown. The respect that these children have for people in the uniform is just wonderful. They make cards on their own. They send gift boxes for every holiday. They make a theme every year, and that theme with writing poetry, singing songs, doing skits, it just brings a tear to everyone's eyes. And I think they grow up with a new rebirth of what the respect of a veteran is. These children haven't experienced that, but Danielle is now through her brother. We've had other ones that have had fathers there. So that connection that brings that home to the school is just another way of people learning about life. In the way that you share history with them and the things that you do, it's just marvelous. The children, the fifth graders, after Veterans Day performance at our school, they go, and Miss Incerto will finish, they go to the Chelsea Naval Home. And that visit, I'll let Mrs. Incerto say what that visit does to the children.
Before we get to
Go ahead.
Mrs. Incerto, Miss Kelly, and Terry, I was in Germany just at the end, after the war was over, in 1946. The war ended May the 8th, 45. I visited people that were in concentration camps. I went to Salzburg, Austria, where they had what they called DP camps, displaced persons. Little kids like you were living there in tents. No fathers, some of them got killed, some of them got killed in the concentration camps. But the mothers would always come over to me with the little kids, and they used to call us the chocolate soldat. For a little piece of chocolate, they would beg us to give it to the kids, not to them, if we had any food. And we made sure that we got our K rations. Not only me, but the rest of the soldiers that were there with us, we gave it to the little kids, and that's the way it was when I was there. So you kids are really lucky to be in this great country. I just wanted to get that.
That's important.
Very important. The visit to the Soldiers' Home, again, it started a while ago, and the fifth grade students participate in that, and they usually a musical selection they bring with them, and they sing, and they walk around the different floors, and they bring cards and letters that we have written in the school. So we have 483 students that will write cards and letters to them, and they bring them over there. And the fifth graders that I have seen when they come back have been changed forever, I think, because of the experience. I know the adults as well. To see them, and we have lots of pictures of the kids with them, to have the veterans share their stories. And there's veterans there from Afghanistan, there's veterans there from World War II like yourself. And I think for the kids to see them, connect with them, talk with them, spend time with them, has had a profound effect on them. And I think it's been a very moving experience for most of them. And they take that experience and then they put that into their essays and their writing. And it's amazing what comes out of these children.
Right, you know, I got to tell you, when I look at these kids here, especially Lilly there, I think of another girl that was only 4 years older than you.
It's okay. Don't make me cry, Morris.
Oh, me too.
Seriously.
Please. You don't know what I do, so.
I'd cry.
Do you
I
need a
know.
hug?
Her name was Anne Frank. If you know the story, would you tell it to her?
Anne Frank Well, yes.
Did you read that,
Did you
Lily?
read Anne Frank?
The Diary of Anne Frank?
I've heard about it.
You've heard
I've
about
heard
it. All right, you've read it, Anthony?
She was only
Anthony,
14 years
Anthony's
old.
read the story.
Yes.
14 years old.
And I read the story too, Morris, when I was in school. 14 years old, and her family was Jewish. And the Germans were looking for the Jewish people, and a family hid her in their
Right.
stairs. Do you want to continue, Morris?
No, you tell it. I mean, the only one that was left was the father. The whole family was wiped out. But I remember, because when I look at these kids, I think of when I was
Yeah.
their age.
And that was a pretty traumatic experience that little girl went through. And I know that there was a movie made not too
Oh, that's
long
right.
ago
Mhm.
about the woman who hid the family.
Right.
And she actually went to a school to speak
What was
to
the
a
name?
group-
I think was it Copenhagen?
Yes, I
Denmark?
believe that's where yes.
Yep. And she was hid in a fake room that they had in there. But one of the neighbors gave them away.
Yes.
Yep.
She hid them for quite a while.
Yeah.
At
for
risk to
almost a year.
herself. At risk to herself, certainly, and her family. So.
You know when I talk to you kids,
It hits home. Well,
it hits a real nerve.
one of our things that we're doing this year for our Veterans Day is the heart of the soldier and the hearts that you have and the things that you represent. So that is our theme this year, the heart of a soldier. In Israel, what is the heart that you have and what does it symbolize inside? Could you read it to Morris?
Yeah, would you, Sergio, please?
No, this is what is inside of a heart of a soldier, and the word inside is bravery.
It's just
Can you
one
hold
word,
it up?
bravery?
Can you hold
Can
it
you
up?
hold it up just so they can see the front of it?
Right, and
Well,
show
this-
it to the TV camera so they can take a picture of it there, what you're looking at is.
Morris, what the students are doing is they're each coming up with their own word that's important to them that they feel is in the heart of a veteran. And all the different words that will come together, you'll see on our veterans. We can't give everything away, Morris. But
Me as a veteran, Terry, if I can say this, when we were over there, we were the most compassionate army. I mean, the Allies. I don't mean just the American soldier, compared to the ones that we were fighting. I mean, the SS and the Bruters. I mean, I don't know where they got their training, but I know when I was speaking to them, when they were 10, 11, 12, 13, or 14, they had to join the Hitler Youth. That was the German Boy Scouts, so-called, to speak. If I was your father and I said anything bad against the government, it was your job to report me. That was your job, to report your parents. Not like we have the freedom in this country. That's why that flag is very, very, very important to us.
And Morris, those are the things that we're trying to teach the students at our school and for them to understand. And hearing those kinds of things from people like yourself who have experienced it, have lived through it, have, I'm sure, horrible memories of things that you've experienced.
Oh,
But to share some of those things with us, it helps us, too, to understand about who our veterans are. And I think for the students, too, to know how much you actually have sacrificed and gone through
By the
to serve your
way,
country.
we went on an honor flight. I'm sure you heard, I don't know if you heard of the honor flight, but 4 of us seniors were picked to go to Washington, D.C. That was paid for by the honor flight. We went to the World War II Memorial. We went to the Vietnam Memorial. We went to the wall that came here to Revere that heals. There was a lady there. By the way, the youngest one killed that was on the Vietnam Memorial was only 15 years old. And people say, well, you got to be 17 to get into the service. He lied about his age. He was only there 1 month, and he was killed. The oldest one, I believe, was 63 or 68 that was killed over there. But getting back to the Vietnam Wall, there was a woman there, and there was a gentleman making what they call a rubbing, where they take the name off of the one. Well, her son's name was up there, and she was crying, and I got, see,
You got emotional.
Mars,
Right.
I was there just 2 years ago, and when I saw the wall start coming, I was there when I was a younger child and hadn't been there for a while as an adult, and it had a whole different impact on me as an adult when I walked in. And as soon as I hit the grass right before it, completely lost it, and ended up having a really good experience there too, rubbing the name of a friend's comrade who died in Vietnam, and I was able to do that for him. I was able to go to the wall and take a picture and rub his name and bring that to him, and it was a friend that he never really talked about very much, but having that name meant so much to him.
right. You know, when you do the honoring for the veterans, which you do at the school, like there are no more World War I veterans. They're all gone. they were gone about 10, 15 years ago. Now we're dying, World War II, about 1,000 a day. There's not many of us left. And eventually they'll be gone to the Korean, to the Vietnam, to the Kosovo, Grenada, Panama, Gulf War I, Gulf War II, Iraq, and Afghanistan. We're free, but look what it's costing us to be free, so freedom does not come cheap. And that's why you kids, when you hear the stories that we tell or what your teachers teach you in school about the history, you are our future. You are going to make this country, we're going to leave it to you, but you're going to make it better than what we left to you. And that's where America's good. We're always advancing. Freedom now is over, even overseas. They're killing each other in Egypt, for example. They're fighting because of the freedom. They wanted to make it what they call a secular state, not a secular state, a so-called religious state. I won't mention religions, the name, but you know who I'm talking about. They're fighting for the freedom over there. They're fighting for the freedom in Syria, Libya, Tunisia, wherever you go in the Middle East, all because of democracy. That's all they want. They just want to be able to be free, just like you and I are. So you kids, when you grow up and you become head of governments, remember what the old man said to you. Okay. Go ahead, Terry. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay, Morris. Do you want me to talk more about veterans? What else would you like us to talk about with you?
I would like you to talk about veterans, and not only
Okay.
that, the future, what the school, what Mrs. Kelly would like to see in the school. Let the Mr. Paul, by the way, I have Mr. Paul Dakin up here, the #1 superintendent in the city, of
Absolutely.
the Commonwealth
In
of
the
Massachusetts.
state.
Out of
In the
50,
state.
out of 50 supers from the whole country, we had #1
Absolutely.
in
Yes, we do.
Massachusetts. So, Paul, thank you for picking the nicest teachers, and thank you, teachers, for picking the nicest students.
I want to tell you, Morris, the video that we do, which you need to give me another picture, sir, to add into that video so we can put you in there. We have represented from the Civil War all the way through to people who are currently serving.
You
in
got
our-
pictures in the Civil
From the Civil War. One of our teachers did one of her ancestries, and she went back all the way back to the Civil War, and she has actual pictures that are in our video. So we are very proud to say that we're representing all the way back to the
I'm going to
Civil
go
War.
down my basement, Terry. I'm going to search out because I haven't been down there for many, many years. I have a picture of me when I was in Germany as a 17-year-old, as a civilian, not as a civilian, but I wasn't dressed in military attire. I was dressed with an army jacket, but not with the to show U.S. Army, because when you're talking to, how can you say it, to German SS or German prisoners who were in the army, to ease them up, because they would speak more freely if you didn't have all that stuff on you than you would. So I used to come dressed as, even though I was in the military, I didn't wear the military attire, but I do have, I think, a picture of me when I was at Fort Dix taking basic training. I'll see if I can find that. By the way, kids, I just want to tell you, I tried to get into the Army when I was 16, so it's only 6 years older than you. They found out my age and they threw me out. My brother-in-law, who's buried in Bourne, which will be going down to put flags on the graves, he got in at 16 and he got away with it. So some do, some don't. I was just unfortunate that they caught me. But as soon as I turned 17, I was right back in there. So I love my country. I would die. If I could serve my country even at this age of 40, I'd be happy.
40, you don't look a day over 39, Morris.
You can double that. Kids, can I ask the kids a question?
Please do.
What would, I know you said you'd like to be a scientist when you grow up. What kind of scientist, if I may ask you? Or a physicist, or maybe that's something too.
I don't actually know what type of scientists there are.
You tell me what you think they do, because I'm not going to tell you.
Like the ones that they make experiments and then they try on the living things.
You know, someday the way you go, you might even get a Nobel Prize, just like some of them are getting this. By the way, they're having the Nobel Prizes for physics, for chemistry, for everything this week. So maybe someday I'll be looking down and I'll see Israel standing in front of there and getting the Nobel Prize. And what about you, little Dan?
What do you want to be, Danielle, when you grow up?
Beside a mother and raising kids. That's good. I didn't
Not
get
sure
the whole
yet?
set.
You just You know, she's not sure
Can we
yet.
come back to you? Think about it for a minute. We'll come
Okay.
back.
Lily?
Lily, go ahead.
I want to be a teacher when I grow up.
Very good. And you, Anthony?
A lawyer.
A lawyer? Don't you want to be an honest person?
Danielle, did you think about it?
Did you think of something, Danielle? What do you want to be?
I want to be a vet.
A vet. A veterinarian? Oh,
By
you
the
love
way,
animals?
Danielle, I got to thank you for what you just said because I love animals. I got cats. I got a dog. I feed the birds. I feed the pigeons in the house. I got stray cats out there by the dozen, and I do mean by the dozen. And my wife and I, we put food out for them. I take the food from the senior center when they don't finish eating. I ask them, don't throw it away, folks. Save it for my animals. And let me tell you, I put out some food one day. Last winter, I shoveled out an area when there was snow on the ground. You couldn't even see the ground. There were so many birds flocking down. Cardinals, Blue Jays, Baltimore Orioles, crow. Even a crow was down there. So when my dog and the cats ever get sick, Danielle, I'm going to bring them to you. And you're going to cure them, right? Good girl. So what else would you kids like to do? That's okay. Don't watch that. We're good.
Anything else you might want to say about Veterans Day and about our program at our school?
I got
Anybody?
something to ask you, if I may.
Sure.
You're going to be graduating school eventually. I mean, you're not going to spend the rest of your life in public school like I did. So what college would you like to go to?
Mostly Yale.
You don't want to go to the whole school, just mostly Yale?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Danielle? I know you're only 7 years old, God bless you, but eventually you're going to have to go to college one way or the other because today, without a college education, you're out of luck, kids. With me, it was high school. You had to finish high school. That was the big thing of my time. Today, it's college, and even a bachelor's degree is not that good anymore. So, okay, Danielle, what college are you going to go to? Harvard is a good school for you. Right. And what about you, Lily?
Boston University.
BU, excellent school. And you, Anthony?
Harvard.
So you're going to go Harvard with Danielle. That's pretty good. So, okay, kids, before we wrap it up, I'm going to give each one of you a chance to say whatever you like. So I'm going to start off with the girls first, okay, Ann?
Okay.
I'm going to start off with Lily first. Go ahead, Lily. Whatever you want to say, we're going to wrap it up.
I like when we do the art projects and we sing because I think it really helps honor the veterans.
And you,
I
Danielle,
don't want to say anything.
what'd she say? Say it again.
I don't want to say anything.
What about a shout out to your brother? Want to say hi to Joey?
You got a brother, Danielle?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Joey?
The one that's in the service?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. How old is he?
Um,
He's got to be over 17, so I know that.
it's in the 20s.
That's pretty good. Go ahead, Israel.
I like when we do our art projects and we sing songs at our school because it really honors the veterans.
Good.
I like when we watch the video of everyone in our school, of people that they are related to or know that were in the service or who are in the service. I like watching it, and I think it really honors them.
Thank you, Anthony. Before we go to the teacher and the principal, I want to thank all you kids for coming up here. You, Israel, you, Danielle, Lily, and Anthony. But most of all, I want to thank your parents for bringing up such wonderful children like you. So if you see your parents, because they're not here, tell them thank you from us. And you two can wrap it up any way you want.
Well, Morris, we'd just like to thank you for inviting us to your program
It was my honor.
so that we
My
could
honor.
share what we do here at the Paul Revere School, and we hope that in some way what we do honors you and all of the other veterans in our city and in our country, of course. And we would like to thank all the veterans, of course, for everything that they do for us every single day.
Thank you, Morris, for having us.
Right,
And
and I
our
wanna-
students, thank you for coming.
Ms. Kelly, before we close, I want to thank you for coming, and I want you to call my senior center so you can get 6 of us veterans to come up and speak to your school, which we would love to. And if you can do it, pick me as your first one.
We will. Tomorrow morning, that phone call is being made.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And may God bless all you kids. May God bless Miss Incerto, Miss Kelly, our troops, the city of Revere, and especially our great country, the United States of America. And thank you all for listening, folks. Till the next time. Thank you.
You're welcome.